Hello, welcome, greetings to the new academic term. Before school closed, we started looking at the elements of computer inputs. Just to refresh your minds on what you did in grade 9, there was what we call the three computing stages. When we say three computing stages, you remember, I'm sure you remember these. Remember these from grade 8, grade 9. And we had here the inputs, processing, storage, and the output. And we called this at junior secondary as the three computing stages. Here in grade 10, we no longer call it the three computing stages, but we learn about this one and the same thing. We call this the elements of computing. There are input elements, processing, output, and the storage elements. Most of the notes that you wrote were under the elements of input. There was one input device that we didn't cover from the whole lot of the notes that you wrote on the elements of input. And these are what we call the sensors. The sensors. Sensors are input devices which capture what we call the physical quantities. So in sensors, we're talking about the input devices that captures the physical quantities. And these physical quantities, let me just put it here. Sensors are input devices which captures physical quantities. This is a very, very important definition if you want to understand what sensors are. So they capture physical quantities, which simply means they capture data outside the computer world. When they capture the data from outside the computer world, they have to send the data into the computer system. There are various types of sensors, of course, and we are going to talk about the most common types of sensors. To understand fully what it means by sensors and capturing physical quantities, remember, physical quantities, the data outside the computer world, this data which is in the world we live in, and this is the data we want to take into the computer system. For instance, if you want the computer to be detecting the temperature, temperature is not part of the computer, but it is part of our world. We are the one who feels the warmth and coldness of the weather. Now we want to take that temperature into the computer system. We are going to use what we call a sensor to detect the condition of the day, the weather, outside the computer world, and take that into the computer system. So we'll take the temperature as an example of physical quantities. We take the alkaline of the soil when measuring the pH as the physical quantity, because the pH is not part of the computer world, it's part of our world. So that is also what we call the physical quantities. So to illustrate how the computer works with sensors, or in short, how the sensors work, we're going to do this. One, computers, as you may know, understands digital or binary language, but we human beings, we live outside the computer world, and anything outside, any data outside the computer world is analog. When the data is inside the computer system, it's digital or binary language, and that's what we call machine language. So to communicate, I personally, I don't understand Chinese or French. So if you want to talk to someone who is French or Chinese, I will need an interpreter who is going to interpret what I'm saying in English to Chinese, and the Chinese to English is going to interpret both languages. So that person is, we call him the interpreter. So equally, sensors, they are not digital or binary devices. They are analog in nature, in the sense that they understand the physical quantities, the analog part of computing. And they will need to take this data into the computer system. And the computer understands the binary. So between the sensor and the computer, there must be a device which is able to interpret the analog to digital. And then there must be a a device which is able to interpret the language from the computer to the sensor. So we have a computer here, which I call a processor. And we've got a sensor here. Sensor. If the sensor captures possibly temperature outside the computer world and wants to send this data into the computer system, this data is analog. Analog, and the computer cannot understand this language. We need to have a device in between, which we call the analog to digital converter. Analog to digital converter. So analog to digital converter is going to convert the analog signal into digital signal. No sooner it passes through this device, this signal is going to be converted into digital so that the computer can understand. But equally, if the computer wants to talk to the sensor, the signal is going to be converted. There we've got digital, and there we're going to have analog. So this is the digital to analog converter. So the analog to digital converter, we call it the ADC. The digital to analog converter, we call it the DAC, that is analog to digital converter. Digital to analog converter. Every time the data needs to go into the computer, it's supposed to be converted, and every time the data is coming out of the computer, it's supposed to be converted. All you need to understand is where to use the analog to digital converter, which is the ADC, and where we need to use the digital to analog converter, which is the DAC. So that is the scenario which takes place before computing can happen. And we know that a sensor is an input device which captures the physical quantities. And the physical quantities need to be taken to the computer system for processing. And for that data to be processed, it's supposed to pass through the ADC so that the computer may understand. So how does actually these sensors work? And how does the computer know that this reading coming from the sensor is the temperature, or this reading coming from the sensor is actually the measure of pH? And why is it so that the computer does not get confused of what is coming from the sensor? First thing first, let me take you back to nursery school. Nursery school, they would show what color is this, and you'd say green. How do you know that it is green? Some of you would say that because it is green. The thing is, someone in nursery or at home would have told you that is green. This is green. And after telling you that this color is green, then it will go into your memory, to stick there. Every time you see green color, you would remember that is green. Why? Because you have been taught before, and now it is in memory. Mostly like my son, what he does, when he looks at a thing and he doesn't understand, he would say, "Daddy, what's that?" When I tell him a name of that thing, then he would know that, oh, that is red. And no one is ever going to convince him that this is blue when Daddy has said it is red. So that is how we learn. First, someone feeds us with data, and the data stays there. So the next time the next time you see something, you would know that this is ABC because someone would have told you before. So even for a computer to understand, we need to feed it with the data. So this is how sensors work. 1. Data about sensors is stored in the processor or the computer. That is 1. Which means now you tell the computer that when you receive this, it means this. So the data about sensors, they are first stored in the computer system. Same applies to you before you can start mentioning the names of those colors you know. Someone would have taught you that this is green, this is blue. And when a child doesn't understand a thing, they will ask, what is that? The reason they are asking, because it's not there in memory. No one has taught them about whatever they are seeing. When you tell them that this simply means ABC, then they would know that no, this is the color ABC. They would have been taught. I hope you are following. Then, second, 2. When someone says this is green and you agree that this is green, because when you see the color, then it will compare with what is in your memory. When the two agrees, then you will say that indeed this is green. So for the sensors, you say that when the sensor sends the signal to the computer, the processor will compare the signal received from the sensor with the stored data. What is happening there now? It's comparison to understand what is this I have received. So when a sensor sends a signal, data is compared to what is stored. So basically, the processor is going to compare the received signal to the data stored, and it will compare. After comparing, it will make a decision. That is the third point. After comparing, the processor makes a decision. This is very important. By the time the processor is making a decision, it means it would have done with the comparison. It will compare the signal coming from the processor with the data that is already stored in the processor. So, what are all these we're talking about? In order to fully understand what we are talking about, I have prepared a few things for you to look at. For instance, basically, this is what you wrote. There are inputs, storage, processing, output. So on the input part, that is where the sensors are supposed to be. And when the sensor sends the signal to the processor, it sends the analog signal. It's supposed to be converted to the digital signal so that the processor can understand. And that converter is the analog to digital converter. Then if the processor wants to talk to the sensor, it will send the digital signal, which is supposed to be converted to analog. And the device in between is called the digital to analog converter. So, before we look at this question possibly, let's try to mention some of the most common types of sensors that you come across in this life we live in. So, one, we can talk about the one I've been mentioning, temperature sensor. Two, we can talk about the pressure sensor. We can talk about the motion sensor. We can talk about the infrared sensors. What else can we talk about? There are a lot of these. There are light sensors. We can talk about the moisture sensor. So, the most common type of sensors are these: pressure sensor, temperature sensor, motion sensor, infrared sensor. You may not be aware that you have used the motion sensor. When you're going to Levy Junction, as we are going through that entrance, that gate is going to slide on its own without anyone opening or closing it. What is happening there? There is a motion sensor which detects if someone is coming. Now, as soon as it detects the motion that someone is coming, then it will send the signal to the processor. And then the processor will compare the signal sent with what is stored. When it compares the two, when I receive this type of a signal, I'm supposed to open the gate. And then it will send the signal back to the processor to open the gate. And then we'll talk about a special device which actually does the opening and the closing the gate, as I will be concluding soon. But what is important, you need to understand this type of sensors. And the motion sensors, you mostly use it every day. I'm sure it is also at the Pinnacle Shopping Mall there, near St. Mary's Secondary School. As soon as you're going to enter that gate, the door or that gate will slide on its own because of the sensors. Then the pressure sensor, which takes the weight of an object. Like when you go to Kapiri there is somewhere the way bridge there, where the bus will go and stand to take the weight of the bus. And it would say maybe the bus is 700 kg. What is taking that? It's the pressure sensor. There are also some pressure sensors that are used in some shopping malls, especially in South Africa, where when you step on a step there, it will take your weight, and then that weight will enable the gate to slide. As long as you are not stepping on that step, the gate is not going to open for you. What takes that signal to the processor is the weight sensor. So these sensors are taking the signal to the computer. They are input device. Then the computer is going to respond. So let's look at this question possibly. Hope you can see. Can I increase? It's not responding. Let me try to do this. So it's saying a computer system is using sensors to monitor and control a chemical process as shown in the diagram below. So at this side there is a chemical process, and we've got these valves, and there is a computer this side. So there they are saying converter A, converter B. There they are saying pressure. Then here converter, just like that. Then the question that they're asking is, name one sensor on heater X. Where is the X from this diagram? There is that, and there is that, and there is that. So name one sensor on heater X. I actually cannot see where the heater is. It is B, A, oh there it is, heater. So this is the heater. Name one sensor. So when something is heating up, which means it's trying to increase the temperature. So you'd say that for the sake of us understanding the heat that is going to be inside the chamber there, then this heater is supposed to have the what we call the temperature sensor, because the temperature can be measured in terms of how hot a substance is, or how hot, cold the substance is. So there it will be fine if we say the name of the sensor is the temperature sensor. Then what is the difference in the function of converter A and converter B? There is converter A. From the plant there going into the computer. Remember, when it's going this side, it's analog to digital. Then this one is coming out of the computer, which is B. So from the computer to the sensor, it is always going to be digital to analog. So what is the difference in the function? The difference is that converter A converts analog to digital, and converter B converts digital to analog. I hope you can remember from my initial illustrations where I talked about the analog to digital converter, then the digital to analog converter. So basically that is the same thing taking place there. Then the next one, they're saying describe the processing that takes place in the computer for this control system. So what takes place there for this entire control system? In short, what they are talking about, they are asking us to describe how a sensor operates. And the operation of the sensor basically is the same thing I'd put on the board. We're talking about that, first of all, the data about this sensor are stored in the computer system. Then when the sensor sends the signal to the computer system, the processor is going to compare the stored data to the received signal before it can evoke the result. So if you just say that data about the heat sensor is stored in the processor, when this heat sensor sends the signal to the processor, the data stored about this signal is going to be compared with the stored data. After comparison, then the processor will send the signal back to the sensor. Just like when you go to Pinnacle shopping mall, you want to go through that slide gate. The motion sensor is going to detect the motion and send the signal back to the computer. Then the computer will compare the received signal with the stored signal. After comparing that, maybe someone is coming to enter inside the shopping mall. It will send now the signal back to the sensor to evoke the sensor to open the sliding gate. So basically, that's how you're supposed to answer these questions. Then there must be another image at the back there. I'm interested in that image. First, can I delete this now? I want that image at the back. Okay. There is another image here. I don't know if you are able to see this. It's saying the diagram below shows the capturing is not so bright. Can address see? Saying the diagram below shows actually showing the issue of this diagram about a sensor. And what we have here is a car whose weight is being measured. So name the sensor found in A. As you can see, this is taking the weight of the car. So this is supposed to be the weight sensor to take, I don't know if it's the kgs or what, for this car into the processor. So that is supposed to be, the A is supposed to be the weight sensor. Then the next one there, which is this question, is saying explain the purpose of the signal converter in the circuit illustrated above. What is the purpose of this sensor? Explain the purpose of, the signal converter, because here it's saying signal converter. That is sensor A, signal converter. We said this sensor A is a weight sensor. Then we go there to the signal converter. What is the purpose of this signal? It's one and the same thing, because the weight sensor is sending analog signal, and before it can go into the microprocessor, it's supposed to be converted to digital. So its main function simply is to convert analog to digital. I believe now you can understand that. Then the next question, name 2 output devices suitable for the circuit and give the reason for your answer. So we're talking now about the output. The output is supposed to be this one and that one. So they want the 2 outputs. Which 2 outputs do you think can be suitable here? Because this is the microprocessor. When this goes on the web bridge there, and the pressure sensor gets the sensor, it goes into the system there. We're supposed to see the weight sensor there. Obviously, we need to have the screen there like a monitor, so that we can physically see the weight of this car. So one output device there is going to be the monitor, to monitor what is happening inside there. The other output, I think if you've been to Kapiri Web Bridge there is something like a microphone, the speaker, which tells the bus driver the weight, because the screen there is for the operator. For the outside people on the bus, they will hear through the speaker that the weight of the car is 500 kgs, some things like that. So this can be a monitor, this can be a speaker. So basically this is how they bring question on sensors. And I just wanted to introduce you to the issue of sensors, but next time we can go and answer some of the questions, some more questions which comes during the final exam. But I hope you've understood. Please always remember that a sensor is an input device. This input device measures the physical quantities, data which is outside the computer world, which is the analog. Then the analog data, before it can go into the computer system, is supposed to be converted to digital language, so that the computer can understand. When the computer understands now, the computer is going to compare the stored data to the signal received. After comparing, that's when the computer is going to make a decision. Now, if the computer makes a decision like opening the sliding gate at Pinnacle, the device responsible for that, we call it actuator. Actuator. Others, they call them motor. Especially for the sliding door, they call it motor. These are responsible for physically taking action on about the response from the computer. So mostly you find the motor or actuator. The many item that is mostly found on most sensors is the actuator. They may ask you which device really takes the action when the sensor, the computer responds to the sensor. It is the actuator. So this is what I promised, that before the end we are going to talk about this device, and it's responsible to ensure that it pushes the gate, it slides the gate physically, and it closes the gate physically. So that is just the preamble or the beginning of the study of sensors. I hope you've gotten one or two things, and hoping to see you in the next lesson. Goodbye for now.